Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness some scenes from the next attraction to play this theater. This picture, truly one of the most unusual ever filmed, contains scenes which under no circumstances should be viewed by anyone with a heart condition or anyone who is easily upset. We urgently recommend that if you are such a person or the parent of a young or impressionable child now in attendance, that you and the child leave the auditorium for the next 90 seconds.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of the Video Nasty Project, the show that brings you all the corrupting morality, violence, and disgusting, depraved, sickening gore that your twisted little hearts could possibly desire, and then some. Tonight, we take a look at a masterpiece of Giallo cinema from the undisputed champion of Italian horror, Dario Argento. Tonight, we take a look at Tenebrae. Why don't we check out the trailer, shall we? Yes, we shall.
Filthy, slimy pervert.
I've read all your books, Mr. Neal. The book deals with a murder committed with an old-fashioned open razor, right? This girl, too, was killed with a razor, and your book's pages stuffed into her mouth.
Can I ask you something? If someone is killed with a Smith & Wesson revolver, do you go and interview the president of Smith & Wesson?
Peter, you can't let me down now. We're within 2 days of making a deal. Please, stay just until Friday.
My life is in danger. There's no deal in the world worth risking my life for.
Not anxiety or fear, but freedom. You wrote those words, page 46. Freedom to strike again, Peter.
Listen, don't hang up. We have to talk.
You told me how, Peter Neal. You and me together. We've just begun.
Jesus. Time.
Spy. Damn little spy.
Peter?
Oh.
Come on, hurry.
Oh, my head.
You'll be okay. We've got to get out of here. The guy has an axe. Could it be somebody I know? Damn. I wish I'd never written that book.
You don't mean that.
I've made charts. I've tried building a plot the same way you have. Tried to figure it out, but I just have this hunch that something is missing. A tiny piece of the jigsaw. Somebody who should be dead is alive, or somebody who should be alive is already dead.
Explain that.
You know, there's a sentence in a Conan Doyle book. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
All right, First, a quick history lesson. What is a giallo? Simply put, it's the Italian word for yellow. Much like how the hard-boiled detective stories of the 30s got the name pulp fiction from the pulpy nature of the pages of the book, giallo got its name from the yellow book covers of a murder mystery series called El Giallo Mondadori. In the 60s, filmmakers like Umberto Lenzi and Lucio Fulci and Mario Bava began making films inspired from this series, and the genre just took off from there. So what makes a giallo as opposed to just your usual standard horror movie? A couple of things. First, a weird non sequitur name like Your Vice is a Room and Only I Have the Key, or Twitch of the Death Nerve, or Strip Nude for Your Killer. Second, our protagonist is an outsider, a tourist on vacation, an author while traveling working on a book, and they witness a gruesome murder. The cops are ineffectual or non-existent, so it falls to our protagonist to investigate the crime. Third, the mysterious killer usually wears black leather gloves, a black trench coat, and a big black hat, and they'll use a straight razor as his or her weapon of choice. And then you'll have a soundtrack of this groovy lounge music or this badass synth, usually done by Goblin or Ennio Morricone. The most distinctive thing about the giallos are the slick and stylish, strong, saturated colors, this wildly exaggerated light and shadows, these bizarre camera angles, extreme close-ups on the eyes and objects, and unusual tracking shots. They're very, very slick. And lastly, blood, and lots of it. Oh my God, so much blood. Extreme, over-the-top violence, and almost all of it always against beautiful young women. So there's this layer of sex and violence and sleaze. It's this style that's unique. Now, not every giallo ticks all of these boxes, but most of them will do a majority of them. And there you go. And now, back to our regularly scheduled review. Well, we just saw Tenebrae.
It was grand.
Yeah. Well, now, why don't you just jump right to the end of the review and do the what we think of it? Spoilers! All right, what do you think of it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
All right. Well, what'd you think of it?
It was good, better than I remembered from the last time I watched it.
Oh, I liked it. So, I guess we're done. We'll see you later.
Okay.
All right.
Cha-ching. That was quick.
That was quick. That was a short episode. It's like, what? I think the trailer was longer than we were talking.
I think we should do this one again.
All right, we can do... No, we can...
We can fix it in post.
We can fix it in post. So it was Dario Argento, the master of Italian horror. What's some of the other stuff? And he did Night of the Living, Dawn of the Dead, but only
produced it.
He produced it. What the hell else has he done? He's done a bunch of giallo.
Suspiria. I think Deep Red.
Yeah, Deep Red. That was another one.
Yeah, that's right. He did do that, didn't he?
Yeah.
I liked that one.
I mean, he's definitely one of the masters.
So, the undisputed master of Chinese, Japanese horror, whatever the hell, Italian horror. Yeah. No?
I'd say he's pretty masterful there. I mean, that movie was pretty straightforward sick, you know? I mean, it's overflowing with sick, so yeah.
Although, it was interesting, so your giallos tend to be... How many giallos have you seen?
You got
Well,
me.
I mean, you saw Deep Red, so...
Yeah, I've seen
So
Deep
you've really
Red.
seen like 2.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen a ton.
Oh, yeah.
That it wasn't nearly as slick and as stylish. I mean, because you go and watch like Inferno or Deep Red or the Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and the colors are all like, it's really striking, and there's like strange magentas in the background, and it's half blue, half green, and it's all.
But they did really good with the color in this one.
So this one well, they did good with the color in this one, but it was very grounded in reality as opposed to this kind of ethereal, oversaturated.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it makes it much more impactful when the insanity happens, because it's so grounded in reality. And and as far as the color scheme goes, I mean, matching like clothing with interior design and stuff like that, and other actors' clothing.
Oh, yeah,
and exteriors.
Like the one bit where It was Peter and Neil, his secretary Anne, and the assistant Johnny, where they were all looking at the map, and they all had this amazingly well coordinated color scheme going on, especially with Anne's dress and Johnny's shirt. Yeah, it was like, wow, that was really cool.
That was the first thing I noticed when we walked in that room. Johnny's shirt matched the wall.
Pretty much, if he had taken 2 steps to the left, he would have just blended in like a chameleon.
And the fact that he has a parquet shirt versus the brick wall that he's standing under.
Oh yeah, and the first
scene
where you see him in the hotel room. Oh, and then there was the use of the red too, especially with
the shoes.
You have all these earth. So that one shot with the tracking shot where she's walking along and there's all these earth tones, and it's all everybody has mundane business shoes on except for the lady who is wearing the bright red high heel shoes. So it's eyes instantly to that.
Yeah, and then where Jane is opening the package and the package is red. And the flowers on the counter are red.
But everything else is more or less a shade of white.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, or some other subdued, toned down color, except for the red, which it's like your eye immediately goes to the flowers and to the package. And when she opens up the package, what's inside is red. And it's just like, and then there's the whole, you're remembering the red shoes, which you've seen before. It's just like, wow, that really gets your attention. But it doesn't really club you over the head with it. You know, it grabs you, but it's not distracting,
right? And
it's not blunt,
right? And I thought the interesting thing. So Tenebrae is Latin for darkness.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so you think, okay, this is going to be a dark movie, and I mean, Argento's movies before this had all been supernatural, so they'd have been like witches and shit like that. And so you're like, okay, this is going to be like a dark movie, but the movie is mostly brightly lit and takes place in the day and is completely counter to the darknesses in everybody's souls versus out to be seen.
That's true.
And I thought there were some really good, peripheral characters in this, like that Doberman Pinscher. I mean,
God, that dog just wanted to eat her alive.
A dog trained to climb up fences and jump over them and run after your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, what's scarier to some people than running away from a dog in the dark and that dog's after you to bite your hands, your face, whatever. Very, very effective. I mean, the scene with the Doberman was just pure gold.
Oh yeah, especially where the girl runs into the yard and they have the really awesome music that builds up the suspense.
Well, I mean, it's Goblin, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, but at any rate, she loses the dog, and you think, oh, she's permanently getting away from it, but nope, she's gotten in, or rather, the dog gets her at the door. And then she gets in, and you're like, oh, she's gotten away again. But then you see, even though she's inside, you see the dog outside the sliding glass door. And it's like, what does she have to do to get rid of this thing?
And then I know exactly what she has to do. Spoiler, she gets killed.
And not by the dog.
No, not by the dog.
Yeah.
She falls into the den of evil.
Yeah.
And dogs have always, I mean, Suspiria also had, a dangerous dog in it, and it seems like, he upped it from, like, a German Shepherd to a Doberman Pinscher, and it's like, holy crap. And I didn't know, because I had seen the movie before, I think I own it, it's probably in my collection someplace, but I hadn't seen it in years.
This is the first time I've seen it.
And I was thinking, wait, I don't remember if the dog actually jumped over the fence. Oh, no, yeah, he does. And he just sniffs around the grass, then turns around, and
like a hunted
in a single shot. And it was like, oh, damn, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was so freaking cool. And he knows how to set up a chase shot. She's running this big, wide shot, and here's this dog running after her, and she tackles her, after Maria, tackles her out there.
Well,
and
the whole
really
movie is
trees.
The whole movie is just artistically shot. I mean, okay, it doesn't quite have the weird, freaky geometry and canted angles like your other Giallos, but this one, it was still very masterfully shot. Let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. That crane shot.
Oh yeah,
where outside the house,
where they're doing. It's not really a scene wipe because it's all in one take,
right?
But it's a scene change where they change from the inside of the house to the outside of the house, going over the roof, and Goblin's got the music playing again, which was just freaking awesome, and it's so creepy. That scene change.
Exactly. It's very technically well done, but it's also incredibly unnerving. I mean, you're peeking in on the one girl as kind of this voyeur, and it just very calmly and methodically scans the house, finds everybody else in the house, and then winds up breaking in. Yeah. So it's a very, very methodical, very unnerving scene.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a moment where you're like, early on in that scene change where you're like, is it going to go after the first lady or is it going to go after the second lady? There's this question in your mind, and he's going to go after one of them because it was kind of foreshadowed with the very first victim, but it seems like there's a targeting towards women here, which turned out not to be really that all the case. But
the thing is, so Dario Argento, from the research I did before we did this, he had been doing the years previous, he had been a target of a stalker himself in real life.
Okay.
So the movie, as the watching it I think I'm on the third time watching it, feels very autobiographical. Not quite all the way, but it's very much a,
Okay.
So especially the criticisms leveled against Peter Neal, the author, feel very, hey guy, you're being this misogynistic violence against women sort of dude.
Yeah.
And then Neal goes and has this rebuttal.
Yeah.
So it feels very much he had something to say.
Yep. And from what I know of Argento, I felt that Neal was kind of his mouthpiece in this film. He felt very much like the director to me. It just, admittedly, I don't know much about Argento, but from what little I know, some authors and creators do that. They have a stand-in character for themselves who's semi-autobiographical, and I felt that Neal was his stand-in. The plot was very well done. It kept me guessing. Lots of nice little jump scares that made you go, "Oh, that person's gonna get got," and then you're wrong.
Yeah, and that's exactly the first thing when what happened to me the first time I was watching is like, oh, I get the killer pegged. That's not him because he just died.
Yeah. or you think you have the right victim, and nope, misdirection.
No, and that's Mario Bava, wrong freaking director. That's Argento's strength, is that it's all the clues are there from the get-go. From frame one, you can identify the killer if you know what you're looking for, if you've watched it before. But his skill is in this artful misdirection of the sleight of hand to keep the clues obfuscated.
Look, it's a red herring.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! What? It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Would have been funny if they had one of those actually in there.
Yeah. So, speaking of red, in the red shoes, was that chick a dude? Okay, now we saw her naked running around on the beach, but she, I don't know which, had very masculine look about her.
The unnamed red shoes girl. I felt she was a woman. Of course, mind you, this was because we did see her topless.
No.
But, there was a feminine vibe going on there, but there also was a bit of the masculine as well. Right. Some women have a masculine touch to them.
Maybe that was just me reading too much into it.
Well, I mean, she did dominate him. I mean, I wouldn't call that necessarily masculine, though. I mean, she he was rejected. He ran away. Then he tried to, do something to her, and then she handed him his ass. Kicked him repeatedly. She dominated him. That humiliated him in front of those other 3 boys she chose for sex, presumably on the beach.
Stuffed the heel of her shoe in his mouth.
Right. But that was kind of why I was thinking maybe, assuming that was Peter that killed her, that's why I thought maybe she was a dude, because it's I'm really attracted to you. Oh my God, you're a dude, and then that's why he killed her.
I never got
All right. I'm just barking up the sometimes critical analysis is way the fuck out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I assumed he killed her because she rejected and humiliated him, and used those other 3 guys to put him down, basically, hold him down while she kicked his ass.
That's what I thought too.
And the one thing that made me, if I'd never seen this film before, the one thing that would have made me think it was Peter was the one shot where they show him as a younger man with this woman before she got killed. I mean, I drew the assumption that this was a younger version of Peter based on his build and kind of general looks.
Well, then they bookend every lady with the red shoes scene with either a close-up of the water and the pills, presumably some sort of anti-psychotic medicine or just aspirin.
He was clearly he was nutting out.
Oh yeah.
He was having.
Oh, I suppose we should mention this is really fucking huge spoilers. It's Peter that's the killer.
Well, he's the main killer. I mean, the first killer is
it's
Cristiano, the TV producer. He uses the straight razor, and then Neil kills him in front of Johnny.
Yeah,
and
his assistant.
And then all of the killings after that are Neil, but. It was well done in the scene where Cristiano gets killed, because you think Neil's still wandering around outside the house. And when Johnny retreats from having seen Cristiano gets killed, there's Neil on the ground with the bloody rock right next to him. Later we realize, that was self-inflicted, but at the time we don't know.
Right.
And again, there's the whole red thing. Oh, and then there's the statues.
Oh yeah.
The statue in the in
Neil's... that kind of that stone Buddha-ish sort of thing.
Well, I'm talking about the one with the mirror edges.
Oh, okay. It was because he had statues all over the place.
But there was the one with they actually did a cut into it where the light was shining off of the blade part.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was kind of like that kind of an Emmy sort of looking statue.
Yeah, and it's focusing on the blade type section, and you're like, man, somebody's gonna get whacked with that thing. Nobody did. But then at the very end, you're in Jane's apartment, and she's got another statue with like blades all over the thing.
Horn with points.
Yeah, kind of this curled cone metal thing.
Yeah. And a big like tree-like thing.
And the way it's by the door and everything, and they keep showing it over and over and over.
But it was very subtle. It wasn't in your face. Oh, look at this! It's it was very subtle Chekhov gun.
Yeah, it's like they're in the scene, and you see it, but they don't really call your attention to it.
Right.
But you notice it because of the foreshadowing of the similar shadow in Neil's Neil's motel room. It's like your eye immediately goes bink.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be important.
Yeah.
And the misdirection was just utterly brilliant, especially at the end.
Mm-hmm.
With the
I'm really going to have to put a spoiler tag right at the beginning of all this.
Yeah.
Aren't I?
The fake straight razor with the button
the little
squirty blood, and I didn't even foresee Neil's suicide.
Right.
It's like, and he's on the floor, and the other two have just left.
I guess we're wrapping up. Okay, fade to black. Oh wait, no! He's going after him with a knife.
He's alive again, and he's standing right behind.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
He's like right here.
The cop bends down. Peter's right here. He'd back up, and it's like, oh, here comes the whack.
like, oh my God, he's alive! Right at the moment you realize, oh, he's not lying on the floor anymore. Oh, shit. Whack! Brilliantly done, especially the lineup. I mean, it was perfect, because you didn't see Neil at all until the detective moved.
Yeah. When the detective came back up, you could just see a little bit of Peter's ear sticking out behind his head. It's like, oh, that guy just ruined the fact. Oh well, I guess I'll let Argento have this one.
I didn't see it though. I was paying attention to what the detective was doing, and then shit,
whack.
The stupid forensic guys. The axe was hidden in the tree on the ground.
Oh, that was a pretty clever hiding place, though.
I would have found it, and I'm not even a forensics guy. If I was a forensics guy, I'd check everything, because that's what modern forensics do. But maybe they didn't do that back in the 80s.
Yeah. Italian, they just like, hey, we go get us some vino and boy, that's not racist. That's not.
No, shame. But modern forensics guys check everything. They might not have been as careful back in the 80s. Of course, maybe we're spoiled by, things like NSI and, all these other...
Plus, that's what the plot dictates, is they didn't find the axe, therefore they shall not find the axe.
Point.
Well, and that's the thing with the Giallos, is that cops generally are ineffectual or non-existent, so...
Well, the detective and his partner were both effective. It's just none of the other cops were.
Yeah. So, your final thoughts?
Nice.
A little louder, please.
Nice.
I liked it.
All right. We already jumped to the end of this. We're at the beginning of the damn. We're in a time loop. Thank you very much, Brad.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Mm-hmm. Sorry, my bad.
So, no, I dug it. I liked it. I mean, I'm gonna have to check out more Argento. Fortunately, he's got a couple more on the list that we're gonna hit. So, I think Deep Red's on there, and I think Inferno's on there. So
gravy.
Inferno. Okay, one more nasty is out of the way. Tenebrae. Probably, admittedly, the very small sample that we have. Hands down the best one we've seen so far. But why don't you, yes you, person on the other end, tell us what you thought of it. Leave us a couple of comments below. Say, hey, we're full of crap, or wow, that was good. Also, like us, share us, subscribe. And catch us here again next week when next week's going to be a doozy. You're going to...
Look,